Welcome back to the Fusion Garden. Today, we're diving into the ultimate guide for all the strongest Odyssey plants in PVZ Fusion. These aren't your everyday fusions. These are the monsters of the garden, packing insane abilities, game-breaking synergies, and raw power that can carry entire runs. From tanks that refuse to fall to plants that bend time, space, and even fire itself, this is everything you need to know about the most overpowered Odyssey plants. Kicking things off with the very first Odyssey powerhouse, the Gatling Cherry-bomb. This fusion takes the raw firepower of Gatling Cherry and Cherrybomber and turns it into a lane-clearing machine. It fires 4 explosive projectiles in just 1.5 seconds, and each one detonates with splash damage that can wipe out clusters of zombies. But here's where it really shines. In Odyssey mode, its attack interval is halved, meaning those explosive cherries rain down twice as fast. The damage stacks up insanely quick, and whole waves just melt under the pressure. It even has a deadly synergy with Infernal Squashwood. When a projectile passes through it, you get spicy squashes bouncing across the field, and if there's no space for them to spawn, Infernal Squashwood unleashes a jalapeno effect across the entire lane, burning everything in sight. Gatling Cherry-bomb isn't just strong, it's flashy, explosive, and easily one of the most satisfying Odyssey plants to play with. But that's just the start, because next up we have the Cherrybomber Drone. This one hovers above the battlefield, a subspecies of Gatling Cherry-bomber originally designed as a rapid-fire prototype. On its own, it hits for 300 damage every 1.5 seconds, keeping a steady rhythm. But the real magic happens when you place it above a fast shooter. The drone syncs its attacks to match the plant below. If the shooter fires quicker, the drone keeps pace, essentially doubling your firepower in perfect harmony. You're limited to 2 drones per lane, but used right, they completely overwhelm zombies with synchronized rapid-fire explosions. Stylish, powerful, and designed to amplify your setup. Cherrybomber Drone brings the rapid-fire support, but now let's talk about raw defense. And for that, nothing tops Cherrizilla. This fusion of Chompzilla and Cherry Chomper is the ultimate wall on land, built for Odyssey mode. With a massive 8,000 toughness and the ability to repel vehicles, it shrugs off punishment that would flatten most plants. And thanks to its special trait, it can only lose up to a third of its health per hit, meaning it's almost impossible to burst down. But Cherrizilla doesn't just sit there. Every 1.75 seconds it bites, dealing heavy AoE damage. On top of that, every 40 seconds it can devour a zombie. That devour not only restores its health back up to 4 times its normal toughness, but also stacks bonus bite damage based on the zombie's max HP. Each devour makes it stronger, tankier, and even scarier. And after every bite, it spits out an explosive cherry for extra splash damage. It's got survival tricks too. If it takes lethal damage, Cherrizilla stays at 1 HP for 5 seconds, giving you just enough time to stabilize before it goes down. And with Odyssey modifiers active, the healing triples and the devour cooldown drops to just 15 seconds, letting it stack buffs much faster. And if you unlock its synergy with Obsidian Tall Nut, the combo gets ridiculous. Cherrizilla loses its toughness cap entirely, while Tall Nut gains 90% damage reduction. Together, they become an unstoppable frontline. Cherrizilla isn't just defense, like it's a fortress that fights back, turning every hit and every devour into more power. Definitely one of the most terrifying Odyssey plants you can bring. And if Cherrizilla wasn't enough, say hello to its cousin, the Garzilla. Built as a subspecies of Cherrizilla, Garzilla trades some of that explosive healing for a whole new system, poison attacks. It keeps the same 8,000 toughness and dishes out 1,000 damage every 1.75 seconds. But now every bite or projectile inflicts poison, slowly draining zombies even after the hit lands. Unlike Cherrizilla, it doesn't heal from cherry explosions, so it's less about endless sustain and more about stacking up that lingering poison damage while tanking blows up front. Think of it as the offensive counterpart to Cherrizilla. Still incredibly durable, but with Garlic's signature mechanics woven in. Zombies that try to pile into its lane get chewed up and poisoned down, making progress nearly impossible. It's a simpler design compared to Cherrizilla's Devour mechanics, but that makes it consistent, reliable, and deadly in Odyssey mode, especially when paired with fast damage backliners to maximize the poison's impact. Garzilla may not heal endlessly, but it's still a monster on the front lines, spreading poison and soaking up punishment for the rest of your team. Speaking of monsters, meet the unbreakable wall, the Obsidian Tall Nut. This fusion of Frost Tall Nut and Flame Tall Nut is built for Odyssey mode and boasts a staggering 32,000 toughness, 4 times stronger than a regular Tall Nut. It doesn't just block zombies, it dominates the lane. Every 15 seconds it restores 1,500 toughness, and thanks to its anti-crush property, it only ever takes a maximum of 200 damage per hit. But the real trick is how damage is handled. Whenever one Obsidian Tall Nut takes a hit, that damage is shared and divided among all Obsidian Tall Nuts on the lawn. The more you plant, the stronger your front line becomes. And if it's hit by ice shrooms or jalapenos, it even recovers 10% of its lost HP. It's also a hard counter to balloon balloon zombies, forcing them down to the ground instead of flying past. And remember the synergy with Cherrizilla? With both plants on the field, Cherrizilla's toughness cap is completely removed, while Obsidian Tall Nut gains a 90% damage reduction. With its Odyssey modifiers, the Obsidian Tall Nut pushes even further, tripling its HP cap and redirecting damage from nearby plants in the same lane to itself, shielding your entire formation. This isn't just a wall, it's the ultimate shield, designed to absorb everything zombies can throw at you. But the Obsidian line doesn't stop there. Next up is the Obsidian Mine. This subspecies of Obsidian Tall Nut might look small, but don't let that fool you. It's got the same massive 32,000 toughness. Being a short plant, it actually ducks under straight-firing projectiles, making it even harder to bring down. Like its Tall Nut cousin, it's anti-crush, so it can only ever take 200 damage per hit. Its specialty, countering digger zombies. While most walls get bypassed underground, Obsidian Mine stops them cold, and the more punishment it takes, the more dangerous it becomes. For every 1,000 damage received, even before reductions, it triggers a potato explosion, blasting zombies in a small radius for 500 damage. That means the longer it holds, the more explosions it spits out, turning constant pressure into non-stop retaliation. Now that we've seen the titans of defense, let's turn up the chaos with the Doominator. This fusion of Doomspike Shroom and Cryonic Shroom is all about overwhelming control. It attacks every 0.5 seconds, stacking up cryo points with each hit. That constant chip damage adds up fast, but the real power is in its special effects. Doominator has a chance to hypnotize weakened zombies. If their toughness drops below 40%, they can be converted into Frost Tall Nut Sentinels that fight for your side. And when that happens, the tile where they're turned erupts in a 450 damage explosion, shredding everything nearby. In Odyssey mode, the modifiers take things to the next level. The Doominator's attack speed is tripled, so it's machine gunning out cryo shots non-stop. And on top of that, zombies take 30% of their current HP as damage every time they thaw out a freeze, basically punishing them just for surviving. With its hypnotize mechanic, lane explosions, and relentless cryo pressure, Doominator isn't just a damage dealer. It's a full-blown battlefield disruptor that flips enemies into allies while tearing through waves. Now that Doominator's shaken the battlefield, it's time for its spiked cousin, the Thornminator. This fusion of Doominator and Cactus fires Doom Hypno Ice Spikes every 1.5 seconds, each one chilling enemies and stacking 20 cryo points. Against frozen zombies, those shots hit with 4 times damage, tearing through them like glass. And with infinite piercing, Thornminator doesn't care how many are in the lane. It slices through ground and air alike. The real spectacle comes when you plant it. Thornminator instantly scattershoots at least 60 Doom Hypno Spikes across the field, blanketing both air and ground units in a deadly storm. It's a built-in battlefield wipe from the moment it hits the lawn. Like its parent, Thornminator carries over the Hypnotize effect. Weakened zombies can be flipped into Frost Tall Nut Sentinels, and each conversion detonates in a 450 damage explosion, ripping apart everything nearby. With its piercing coverage, cryo amplification, scatterstorm planting effect, and hypnotic detonations, Thornminator is more than just a variant. It's a full-blown anti-air, anti-ground spike storm that dominates every lane. If Thornminator was all about brute force, Charmatron flips the script with pure charisma. This dazzling fusion of Charm Shroom and Hypnomagnet fires every 2 seconds, dealing 80 damage. But its real power comes from manipulation. Each projectile explodes in a one-tile splash with no fall-off and has a 50% chance to hypnotize zombies on impact. And here's the kicker. Zombies can't even eat Charmatron. Any that try are instantly hypnotized instead. Charmatron also thrives on metal. Feed it metal objects and it gains charge levels for 30 seconds, up to 2 by default. At charge level 1, it doubles its fire rate with 2 shots per attack. At level 2, it quadruples its output with 4 hypnotic blasts. And thanks to the magnetic system, each allied plant in the network gives Charmatron a 5% damage boost, stacking into serious firepower. If Charmatron was all about charisma, Shroomageddon is the definition of annihilation. This apocalyptic fungus sprays deadly fumes across a massive 5x5 damage radius every 1.9 seconds, each strike dealing a brutal chain of hits. Its detection range spans 5 times 3, meaning nothing nearby escapes the Spore Storm. And with every attack adding 5 cryo points, enemies are slowed and shattered under relentless pressure. But the devastation doesn't stop there. Shroomageddon's spores pierce through zombies, then detonate for even more penetrating damage. And when this monster falls, it doesn't just die, It unleashes a screen-wide explosion of 1,800 cremator damage, freezing every zombie in sight. In Odyssey mode, the carnage reaches god-tier levels. Shroomageddon's Death Blast skyrockets to 1 million damage, and it spawns 3 Atomheart Plantern Lumos to keep the field glowing with destruction. It also shrugs off cherry bombs and jack-in-the-box blasts, and after absorbing 10,000 points of explosive damage, it retaliates with a Doom Shroom explosion, erasing everything in range. With its giant AoE, penetrating Spore Chain, screen-freezing Death Nuke, and apocalyptic Odyssey buffs, Shroomageddon doesn't just fight the Horde, it ends the world while laughing at the explosions. From the ashes of Shroomageddon rises its frozen offspring, the Atomheart Plantern. This chilling subspecies fuses Shroomageddon Plantern, sealed with radioactive frost that fuels devastating cold fusion reactions. Every 3 seconds it fires for 600 damage across a massive 15-tile range, even striking airborne threats. Each blast applies deep chill, stacking 30 cryo points to slow zombies into statues. But Atomheart Plantern's true strength comes from the Lumos system. Its damage doubles for every Lumos level, meaning each upgrade skyrockets its output until it's tearing holes through entire waves. As a descendant of Shroomageddon, it inherits powerful traits, but without triggering on-death effects when switching forms. And like Plantern, it still shines utility. Its most terrifying ability, Atomheart Plantern refracts Apeacalypse Railgun beams into 3 separate blasts, each carrying full damage. With perfect positioning, one zombie's doom becomes a triple-lane massacre. With deep cryo control, scaling nuclear damage, anti-air range, and railgun refraction, Atomheart Plantern isn't just illumination, it's a frost reactor that weaponizes light itself. If Atomheart Plantern was all about cold precision, the Apeacalypse Minigun is pure, reckless firepower. This brutal fusion of Spicicle and Titan P turret thrives on self-destruction. With 8,000 toughness, it spits out triple-shot bursts of 120 damage every 0.5 seconds. But here's the twist. Every bullet fired also chips away 50 of its own toughness, until it bottoms out at 500. The weaker it gets, the stronger it becomes. Each shot knocks zombies back, piercing through 2 targets with halved power after each hit. And as its toughness falls, its rate of fire ramps up, hitting a blistering 0.25 second interval once it drops to 1/3 HP. Push it further, and the attack damage climbs too, capping out at a terrifying 480 per shot when it hits 0. It's a walking contradiction, a weapon that gets deadlier as it breaks itself apart. In Odyssey mode, Apeacalypse Minigun ascends to another level. At level 1, its defenses harden as toughness drops, and below 500 HP, it becomes outright immune to damage under 1,000. At level 2, those low HP shots double in base damage, and all projectile damage and knockback are tripled. By then, it's less of a turret and more of a living catastrophe. With scaling firepower, relentless knockback, and explosive self-destruction, Apeacalypse Minigun isn't just a plant, it's a suicidal war machine that turns its own pain into pure carnage. And if the Apeacalypse Minigun wasn't crazy enough, here comes its deadlier, more precise evolution, the Apeacalypse Railgun. While the minigun floods the field with relentless suppression, the railgun concentrates all that chaos into pure, surgical destruction. Born from the fusion of the minigun and sniper, this weapon sacrifices volume for lethality, firing high-energy pulse rays that pierce through everything in its path, even flying zombies. Every 3 seconds, it releases a burst of 5 hypercharged shots like a laser, each one cutting through entire lanes. Like its predecessor, each attack consumes its own toughness, literally burning itself away just to keep firing. The lower its health drops, the more powerful it becomes, scaling all the way up to triple strength when near death. And remember the synergy with Atomheart Plantern. By placing an Atomheart in front of it, it can split its rays into 3 and target 3 lanes. But be careful, the angle of fire is only plus or minus 10 degrees. With its infinite piercing and scaling damage, it's a weapon that can single-handedly flip an Odyssey run if you can survive the recoil. After all that apocalyptic firepower, things somehow get even hotter. Enter the Infernal Squashwood, a blazing fusion born from Inferno Wood and Spicy Squash. It inherits the explosive energy of Inferno Wood, but with a twist. Instead of just burning zombies, it weaponizes ignition itself. Every time it ignites projectiles, it builds towards summoning a living bomb, the Spicy Squash. Once it's ignited enough shots, a squash spawns forward, detonating every time a zombie gets close. And the synergy potential? It's off the charts. When paired with Gatling Cherry-bomber, projectiles morph into bouncing spicy squashes that wreak havoc wherever they they land, and if you unlock all of its modifiers, then every blast spreads across 3 lanes, following wild sine and cosine paths for maximum coverage. In Odyssey mode, it only gets more brutal. The number of projectiles needed to summon a spicy squash drops from 21 to 11, and if there's nowhere to plant, it ignites the lane instantly. Infernal Squashwood isn't just a support plant, it's an ignition engine. Every spark, every shot, every explosion feeds its fire until the whole field becomes one massive living blaze. After the fiery power of Infernal Squashwood, things only get hotter with the Infernal Sparkwood. This Infernal Squashwood variant fuses with starfruit flames, and the result is a plant built for pure ignition and precision. Instead of spawning spicy squashes, every 51 projectiles it enhances will summon a spicy starfruit right in front, giving you bonus firepower in the lane. But the real kicker is how it supercharges projectiles. Starfruit shots passing through Infernal Sparkwood get their damage doubled, lose their quirks, and gain global homing with anti-air priority. In other words, every star becomes a heat-seeking missile, hitting exactly where it needs to. Even explosive cherries get transformed into Explota stars with double damage, homing, and the power to trigger a jalapeno effect on death. It's not just an upgrade, it's a complete rework of how your projectiles behave. And just when you thought your lawn was safe, a meteor crashes down. This is the Magnetar, and it's as terrifying as it looks. By itself, it fires off 5 projectiles every 1.5 seconds, each boosted by its twin systems, Lumos and Magnetic. Lumos increases its damage with levels, while the Magnetic system stacks power for every other magnetic plant in play. Both together can push its star projectiles to insane levels, up to 300 damage each, and way higher with Odyssey modifiers. But the real show is the meteor. Every 15 seconds, Magnetar calls one down from the sky for 1,800 damage. Then it splits into homing stars that strike zombies for another 100 damage each. On top of that, it inherits aircraft downing from Magnathorn, so even balloon zombies and tridents get sniped midair. In Odyssey mode, Magnetar's power explodes even further. Its attack speed triples to 0.5 seconds, its base damage multiplies, and the old cap just gets blown away. This isn't just a star shooter. Magnetar is a one-plant apocalypse, raining meteors, shredding air units, and scaling damage into oblivion. Right after the meteor storm of Magnetar, we get its cousin, the Gravitron. It's a subspecies of Magnetar and Blubber, but with a unique system. Think of it as Magnetar's precision weapon. Instead of just crashing meteors, this plant pulls in stars, charges them up, and fires them out at max velocity. Gravitron can store up to 60 stars at once, and each one takes about 1.5 seconds of acceleration before launch. Once fired, they don't just float like normal stars, they blast forward at double speed, dealing reliable chip damage with 3 damage per hit, but making up for it with sheer volume and velocity. Basically, Magnetar gives you raw destructive force, while Gravitron specializes in control and rapid-fire precision, shredding through swarms before they can even reach your defenses. Next up, we've got the Laser Pumpkin, born from the fusion of Pump Carrier and Magneto Blubber, and this one takes pumpkin defense into high-tech offense. Right out the gate, it always has a laser drone wingman by its side, and every so often it spawns new drones around its 3x3 area. These drones don't just float, they home in on enemies, and in Odyssey mode, that gets supercharged with triple drone damage and up to 3 wingmen at once. The pumpkin itself isn't just a husk either. With 16,000 toughness, it can tank hard and even reflects damage back when bitten. But the real kicker? Thanks to the magnetic system, if it's teamed up with a mechanized pumpkin or any metal upgraded pumpkin, it can absorb them every 30 seconds and convert them into more laser pumpkins, basically multiplying your firepower. So instead of just walling off zombies, the laser pumpkin turns your defense into an army of flying laser cannons, relentless, scaling, and devastating in Odyssey mode. Following up on the high-tech Laser Pumpkin, we get its explosive cousin, the Blast Pumpkin, created from the fusion of Laser Pumpkin and Cherry-bomb. This subspecies drops the laser drone strategy and instead goes full demolition mode. Every 30 seconds, it spawns a self-destructing drone that hunts down zombies and blows up like a mini cherry bomb. The kicker? Unlike most plants, the Blast Pumpkin actually absorbs cherry explosions to heal itself, turning destruction into regeneration. With 16,000 toughness backing it up, this plant isn't just tough, it's a ticking time factory of explosions, constantly softening the board while staying alive longer, thanks to that healing mechanic. If Laser Pumpkin was about sustained firepower, Blast Pumpkin is about burst damage and survival, keeping pressure on zombies every half minute with reliable detonations. Next on the list, we've got the Wither Pult, born from the fusion of Salad Pult and Garlic Pult. This one's all about chaotic, lane-shredding pressure. By default, it fires for 120 damage every 2 seconds. But here's where it gets wild. Every shot has a 42% chance to rapid fire, and an equal chance to spread fire across the number of zombies in its lane. So the more zombies you're facing, the more projectiles you're throwing. And those projectiles aren't ordinary either. On impact, they can split into garlic cabbages, garlic kernels with a butter chance, and garlic melons, stacking utility while still hitting hard. In Odyssey mode, the spread fire becomes guaranteed, and its poison mechanics get buffed, instantly poisoning zombies with stacking points and later removing the poison cap entirely. Wither Pult basically takes the reliability of a Pult plant and adds a layer of chaos and scaling power, making it a nightmare for zombies in crowded lanes. From the decay of Wither Pult comes something even stranger, the Rot Pult. This eerie fusion of Wither Pult and Puff Shroom doesn't just lob projectiles, it hurls mini garlics every 2 seconds with a chance to shrink zombies, and each one splits on impact into a trio of deadly surprises. A garlic cabbage, a garlic kernel with a chance to drop garlic butter, and a garlic melon slice. Together they echo the chaos of Popcorn Pult, Slice Pult, and Sprout Pult, all packed into one unholy throw. Rot Pult trades the clean splash of a melon for something far nastier, poison. Every strike stacks up poison points, steadily increasing damage the longer it fights. In other words, the longer it stays on the field, the deadlier it becomes. And just like its predecessor, it carries over Wither Pult's quirks, sometimes breaking into rapid fire, other times exploding into a full spread, flooding the lane with garlic projectiles. On top of that, its short stature lets it duck under straight firing shots, making it a deceptively sturdy nightmare to deal with. Rot Pult isn't just weird, it's corruption made into a weapon, rotting away zombies one volley at a time. Where Rot Pult breaks zombies down slowly with poison, the next plant does the exact opposite, pure overwhelming force. Born from the fusion of Cryo Cannon and Demise Shroom, meet the Cob-Literator, a doomsday cannon that absolutely lives up to its name. Every 36 seconds, it arms a massive payload that detonates in a huge area, clearing out the whole garden. But that's only the start, because the explosion also scales off zombie health, dealing bonus damage equal to 30% of their max toughness across the entire screen. That means even the tankiest bosses can't just shrug this thing off. And while it's reloading, it's not sitting idle. The Cob-Literator's side guns keep firing every 1.5 seconds for 360 damage each, chilling enemies, stacking cryo points, and softening up the entire wave. Then, when the big shell finally lands, it supercharges every plant on your field with Ice Shroom or Doom Shroom effects, freezing lanes solid or unleashing chain detonations of pure chaos. But in Odyssey mode, this plant goes god tier. Its reload drops from 36 seconds down to just 12, and the main blast damage is multiplied by 4. That's screen-wide devastation dropping every few moments, blanketing the entire board in craters and frost. With its insane scaling, constant side-fire, and Odyssey-level overkill, the Cob-Literator isn't just strong, it's a battlefield reset button. When this thing fires, the game doesn't just change, it ends. Next on the list, we've got the Helios Cabbage, created from the fusion of Solar Pult and Golden Cabbage. This radiant powerhouse launches 5 shots every 2 seconds for 300 damage each, carrying over the traits of Solar Pult. But the real magic comes from what it summons. Every 30 seconds, Helios Cabbage calls down a mini-sun that lasts for 15 seconds. The mini-sun scorches every zombie on the field every half second, and its strength scales higher the more Helios Cabbages you have planted. When your sun count rises above 15,000, Helios Cabbage consumes a chunk of it to triple the damage of every mini-sun pulse. While the mini-sun is active, sun drops across the level ramp up dramatically, raining energy every 3/4 of a second. And if you're desperate, you can spend 1,000 coins for its ultimate ability, instantly summoning a mini-sun if none is active, or extending the current one by another 15 seconds. Only one can exist at a time, but that's more than enough to dominate the board. In Odyssey mode, Helios Cabbage takes it even further. Excess sun is automatically converted into raw power, boosting projectile damage with every shot, while its mini-sun doubles its base damage to scorch everything twice as hard. And then there's the Magnetar synergy. With at least 10 Helios Cabbages and 10 Magnetars on the field, the mini-sun becomes permanent and 5 times stronger. Magnetars also change their attack entirely, calling down the Helios Meteor, a devastating strike that obliterates zombies across the screen while dropping over 1,000 sun on impact. With rapid-fire damage, sun-fueled scaling, devastating mini-suns, and unstoppable synergy, Helios Cabbage isn't just a support plant. It's a solar engine of destruction, turning sunlight itself into a battlefield apocalypse. After the blazing power of Helios Cabbage, the next plant turns up the heat even further. The Napalm Shroom, fused from Summer Melon and Football Shroom. This heavy hitter lobs napalm melons that don't just deal damage on impact, they split into 2 more melons and leave behind burning inferno zones for continuous chip damage. Each inferno lasts 2.5 seconds and applies an inflamed debuff, stacking constant pressure on zombies that try to push through. Its base attack deals 300 damage every 7.5 seconds, but it comes with a charge mechanic. After firing, it rests, then charges up, ramping its damage higher the longer it builds, up to 30 seconds of max charge for devastating impact. And to top it off, every hit pierces all armor, making it lethal against even the tankiest zombies. In Odyssey mode, things get insane. Charging speed and max duration are tripled, and the Inferno zones last twice as long, turning the entire lane into a fiery no-go zone. Napalm Shroom is all about area denial and raw destructive scaling. Once it's firing, zombies don't just take hits, they walk straight into an inferno. From the blazing fields of Napalm Shroom, we dive straight into the depths of greed with the Kelptain Goldbeard, a fusion of Twin Marigold and Hydra Kelp. This pirate overlord doesn't just control the water, he profits from it. He inherits Hydra Kelp's dragging power, but with a twist. Goldbeard can drown zombies infinitely, pulling one down every single second if they dare to cross his waters. His projectiles aren't ordinary either. Every zombie he hits turns golden, and when they die, they drop 3 Odyssey points each, stacking up to a massive plus 2,000 bonus per wave. And those points aren't just for show, they fuel your entire run. With his Odyssey modifiers, things get downright broken. Your plants gain plus 5% attack power for every 1,000 points owned, up to plus 300%. And the Odyssey shop itself gets a 30% discount on modifiers. So while Kelptain Goldbeard may only deal 40 times 3 damage per 1.5 seconds, his true power is in the infinite drowning, endless scaling, and sheer economy control. This plant doesn't just win fights, it bankrolls your entire Odyssey. Next up is one of the strangest and most dangerous fusions yet, the Quantum Mccornics, created from Portal Pult and Triple Popcorn Pult. This metal pult weaponizes space itself. Most of the time, about 3 out of 4 shots, it hurls out a mini butter, a compact projectile that either shrinks non-mini-boss zombies down to roughly 70% of their size and health, or if they resist, stuns them for about 1.5 seconds. Imps don't get lucky. Those little troublemakers are straight up obliterated on contact. Roughly 1 in 4 attacks instead fires the real showstopper, the ultimate black hole. It opens for a couple of seconds, slowing nearby zombies and sucking in Quantum's own projectiles within a small 3x3 area. Every absorbed bullet tacks on a bit more life to the singularity, about 2 seconds per projectile, up to a cap of around 7.5 seconds. When the void finally collapses, it erupts in a cherry bomb-sized detonation, dealing a base burst plus a large portion of the energy it hoarded, and if you keep it alive past about 5 seconds, that blast radius balloons and wipes out huge clusters. In Odyssey runs, this becomes even nastier. The black hole can absorb every projectile on screen, and its pull radius is doubled, turning a well-timed singularity into a literal nuke. Quantum Mccornics is high risk, high reward. You control lanes with shrinks and stuns, then cash in by letting all that firepower collapse into one catastrophic explosion. Next up is one of the toughest cosmic defenses in Fusion, the Asro-Nut, created from Quantum Mccornics and Walnut. This plant is a subspecies of Quantum Mccornics, but instead of offense, it's all about being unbreakable. At its core, Asro-Nut has a solid 16,000 toughness and comes with an anti-crush shield, meaning it will never take more than 1,000 damage in a single hit. But here's where things get crazy. After taking around 4,000 damage, it literally rewinds time, restoring its health to where it was 3 seconds ago and then becoming invulnerable for 2 seconds. On top of that, every incoming attack has about a 1 in 3 chance of being ignored entirely. It doesn't stop there. If zombies bite into it, there's a chance, about 1 in 4, that they'll just get teleported all the way to the right side of the lane, completely resetting their progress. And if Asro-Nut can go 30 seconds without being touched, it heals itself back up with a full toughness recharge. Asro-Nut is basically the ultimate stall wall, a nut that rewinds, resists, teleports, and heals, buying endless time for your offense to finish the job. Next up is a plant that blends frost and life into one, the Boreal Lifereaver, created from Spruce Supershooter and Snowbloom Spruce. This unique fusion channels the cold into pure utility. Every second it fights, it builds up ice charges, small ones from snowball hits, bigger ones from ice-based allies like Ice Shroom or Blizzards, and even one automatically every 5 seconds. Its main attack is the Boreal Reaper Saw, fired every 1.5 seconds. On impact, the saw transforms into a homing shard, applying deep chill to the target, stacking cryo points, and fueling more ice charges. It's a constant cycle of frost that slows zombies down while charging its healing core. Once it stores over 50 ice charges, they automatically burn off every 5 seconds to heal nearby plants in a 3x3 radius. The amount restored scales with both their health and shields, making Lifereaver just as powerful for sustain as it is for control. And unlike most frost plants, it's completely immune to freezing effects, keeping it consistent in icy battles. In Odyssey mode, Boreal Lifereaver becomes terrifying. Its Reaper Saws linger for a full 15 seconds instead of fading quickly, and all that stored healing is now focused entirely on each plant instead of being split up, making it one of the strongest sustain tools in the entire game. The Boreal Lifereaver isn't just a defender, it's a healer, a controller, and a frost engine, turning every snowstorm into a second life for your team. team. Next up is a true monster of the plant kingdom, the Tyrannoflora Lux, created from Lumos Angler and Chomper Maw. This towering chomper isn't just about eating zombies, it's about luring them in, devouring them whole, and coming back stronger every time. With its glowing lure, it pulls zombies closer, then instantly swallows any non-mini-boss within a 1.5 tile range. No chip damage, no knockback, just straight to the digestive pit. By default, digestion takes a while, scaling with the toughness of whatever it ate. But thanks to its Lumos system, every level of Lumos reduces that weight by a massive 10 seconds, down to a minimum of just 5. You can even speed it up further with a chomper seed packet, trimming another 10 seconds off. And here's where it gets scary. Once it finishes digesting, it doesn't just free up its bite, it pulls nearby zombies from adjacent lanes into its own, forcing them into the danger zone. On top of that, it fully heals itself, turning every meal into a reset button. In Odyssey mode, Tyrannoflora Lux ascends to a whole new level. Its attack range doubles, letting it snipe zombies from far out, and every digestion grants 2 Lumos levels to plants in a massive 5x5 area. That means faster digestion, more support, and a wider zone of control for your entire team. After the lurking menace of Tyrannoflora Lux, we're back to raw firepower with one of the most explosive fusions yet, the Vulcannon. Born from Pyro Cannon and Pepper Popper, this beast doesn't just fire cobs, it launches molten lava shells that detonate in a massive 3x3 blast. The base explosion alone is devastating, but it goes further. The blast infuses every plant in the area with a cherry bomb or jalapeno effect, instantly turning your defenses into walking explosives. Pumpkins and flower pots are spared, but everything else becomes a fiery weapon. Every hit applies the inflamed debuff, softening zombies for even more punishment. And here's the kicker. When the blast strikes, it splits into at least 6 volcanic bombs, with the number increasing the more zombies it hits. Each bomb deals splash damage at half power, meaning one shot can shred an entire wave across multiple lanes. But in Odyssey mode, Vulcannon truly becomes apocalyptic. Those volcanic bombs deal 5 times their normal damage, and if the main blast collides with a cherry bomb or jalapeno, you trigger a thermonuclear detonation. That means 10 cherry bomb effects in the area, or 10 jalapenos sweeping the entire field, each one hitting with damage equal to 18 times the blast. And after the blazing chaos of Vulcannon, something much more radiant emerges. Princess Solarnova, in a blend of torchflower and golden sunflower, doesn't just burn, she shines. She embodies solar energy itself, generating 50 suns every 3 seconds while literally melting nearby projectiles to fuel her power. Here's how she operates. When her eyes are open, she's active, unleashing searing solar flares that vaporize anything nearby for 1,800 damage. When she winks, she switches to inactive mode, storing radiant energy for later release. Every projectile she absorbs is converted into pure energy. 1 damage equals 1 energy point, capped at 4 times her base attack power. When she exceeds this cap, she fires a solar shot that detonates on impact, dealing 100% of her damage in a small explosive radius. In Odyssey mode, it becomes even more intense. Every solar shot causes nearby projectiles to explode for 10% attack damage, her energy cap triples, and her sun storage triples as well. If Princess Solarnova burns like the heart of a star, then this next fusion is her celestial counterpart, calm, graceful, and just as powerful. Meet Selene Cabbage, born from the fusion of Helios Cabbage and Plantern. By the light of the moon, she brings healing instead of destruction. Every 30 seconds, Selene Cabbage summons a mini-moon, bathing the entire battlefield in lunar energy. For 15 seconds, it heals every plant for 50 hit points per second, and if one plant is close to falling, that healing triples, pulling it right back from the brink. Her damage scales through the Lumos system, gaining plus 100 damage per level, up to plus 500, but with her first Odyssey modifier, that bonus jumps to plus 300 per level and caps at a massive 1,500. With the second modifier, her healing power triples, making her one of the strongest sustain plants in the entire game. And it doesn't stop there. When the Magnetar synergy activates, Selene's mini-moon becomes permanent. Each Magnetar and Selene Cabbage channels its energy into it, merging into a focused beam that automatically locks onto the tankiest zombie. The longer it fires, the stronger it gets, up to 5 times its base power. Where Solarnova commands the sun, Selene Cabbage reigns under the moon, together forming a balance of pure light and healing, might that turns your Odyssey battlefield into a cosmic battleground. And that brings us to all the epic Odyssey plants. From cosmic walls to fiery cannons, each plant is rewriting the rules of battle in Odyssey mode. The Fusion Garden is only getting bigger, and trust me, there are even wilder combos waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next reveal. And let me know in the comments, which fusion do you think is the most broken so far? Until next time, goodbye.